So we're going to be doing a marinated green salad next. This is absolutely one of my favorite recipes. This is a food that I have in my fridge each week, and I change the recipe up just a little bit by changing the greens, changing the ingredients, but the marinade I pretty much keep the same. The first ingredient for the marinated green salad will be kale. We're using kale today. You can use any kind of hardy leafy green. I use kale for this. Some of you may like collard greens. You may have never thought to use collard greens before, but that's also ideal for this recipe. We will be using 1 to 2 bunches of kale or collard greens. So what I want to do is just show you how to chop that up. Okay? So your leaves look like this, and you're just going to put a few together and roll them up really tightly. And what I do is I just take a very sharp knife and I come down and I'm basically chopping this into what I just like to call ribbons. They're kale ribbons. And I will chop all the way to the end. I chop all of the stem as well. It adds a nice little crunch. And if you have a leaf where at the end of the kale there's a little kind of, an end that might not look as pretty, you can discard of that. So I'm just going to chop this up a couple of times so those ribbons aren't too long. And that goes straight into the bowl. So here we have pre-chopped 2 bunches of kale greens. I'm just going to add some of that to the bowl. Delicious. Okay. And the next ingredient for our kale salad is going to be carrots. Okay. So I have a carrot here. This is what a carrot looks like. Carrots are wonderful. They're very high in antioxidants. These bright colored fruits and vegetables are great to have in our diet as often as possible. They're full of natural sugars, and they are full of what is called beta-carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A. So these are very good for your eyes, as you probably know. Now the carrot, what we're going to do is we're actually going to show you, you could do this by hand very easily, but I'm going to show you how to use it. We're going to chop it up in a food processor. So we have a food processor here. I've just given it a couple of chops just to prepare it. And I put it in the food processor with the S blade. And all I'm going to do is pulse that. Chop that up. And what that does is as you continue to chop that, you'll see that it just breaks it up into small pieces. Okay, so that we're going to add 2 carrots to this recipe. So I've chopped that up in the food processor, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to the bowl here. Okay, our next ingredient is a zucchini. We're going to use 1 zucchini for this. If it's a really big zucchini, you may want to use half of the zucchini. It's up to you what you want in your salad, but this is what a zucchini looks like. Zucchinis are very high in vitamin A. They're also very alkalizing. I'm going to go ahead and use my food processor again. So I'm just going to chop this up. Again, you can chop this up by hand if you don't have a food processor. That's not a problem at all. Let me go ahead and empty this out here. I'm chopping each item individually because the zucchini is very high in water and the carrot is not as high in water. So if we chop them together, what ends up happening is you get a little bit of mush, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to add the zucchini to the food processor and chop that up. Okay. And again, what you're going to get is a rough chopped zucchini. It's going to look just like this. Okay. And we have that pre-done over here. So I'm just going to grab our zucchini and I'm going to add that to our salad bowl. And again, you can chop this up by hand. That's not a problem at all. You don't have to have a food processor for that. Okay, our next ingredient is bell pepper. This is bell pepper. Bell peppers come in several different colors. Again, you're going to want to get those bright colored. This is actually considered a fruit, believe it or not. It's a non-sugar or a low-sugar fruit. It has seeds in it. So you're going to want to choose either red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, or orange bell pepper. We avoid the green bell peppers because that is not, it's actually not ripe when it's green. So we're going to avoid that. We want to keep our bodies alkalized and alkaline, so we want to use fruits and vegetables that are ripe. Okay, so this is what a bell pepper looks like, and you can easily, we're going to chop this by hand because if you were to use a food processor, it would actually be mushy. So you don't really want to put bell peppers in the food processor. So what I do is usually you can pop out this center really, really easy. With your bell peppers, you can use the seeds if you want, but in this recipe, we're not going to use the seeds. So you're just going to want to discard those seeds. And this is what that looks like. Put this over here. And what I'm going to do to cut this up, I'm just going to get this started. We're just going to cut it up into thin strips, or however you want to do that. And then we're going to take these strips and we're going to go ahead and cut them this way. So we're going to line them up and then chop it this way. So we have nice chopped up bell pepper. Excellent. So full of antioxidants, really, really, really good for you. We're going to add the bell pepper. Actually, we have some over here. We've got 1 bell pepper. Just put a little bit in there. Excellent. Wonderful. I'll move these aside. Okay, so our next ingredient, we have all of these salad ingredients here. It's very, very colorful. We have yellow, we have orange, we have green. We want to use as many colors as possible, all the colors of the rainbow if possible, because every color has its strength. So we're going to add the marinade on top of here now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1/2 cup of lemon juice. Now this is from actual lemons that we've juiced. I'm going to pour that right over the top. Lemons are excellent cleansers and detoxifiers. A little lemon juice and some water, it's a great way to start the day. It helps get your liver started. It's very alkalizing to the body as well. So we've got 1/2 cup of lemon juice. We have an avocado. I'm going to go ahead and open this avocado for you. Again, this is a brown colored avocado. It's brown because I know that that means it's ripe. When you find it in the store, it's usually green color. So what we like to do if they're too green and not very soft, you can actually put your avocado in a paper bag with some bananas or some apples and close that paper bag. And those, actually the bananas will ripen up and the avocados will ripen up much faster that way. So we have our avocado. Actually, what I'm going to do, just to make this easier, I'm going to cut the avocado like this, so it's actually cut up into smaller pieces. It'll make it easier later. You'll see what we're going to do. Okay, and the other part, we're just going to pop out this pit. And again, I'm going to cut this up. Our avocados are full of vitamin E, which is a very, very healing oil, very healing antioxidant. It's very, very healing to our bodies. Excellent. Okay, so we've got our avocado in there. Our next ingredient, we're going to use garlic. Okay, so this is what garlic looks like in the store. You're going to find it like this. And we're just going to use a clove or 2 of garlic. In this case, we'll use 2 cloves of garlic. I'm actually going to get my knife in there to make it easier for me to pop 2 cloves of garlic out. And the clove looks like this. Just a little clove. That's 1 clove and that's 2 cloves. Usually when you have a head of garlic like this, there's many, many cloves, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, lots of cloves in there. So we're going to be using 2 cloves today. And when you have a clove of garlic like this, to easily get that skin off, you're going to want to take your knife, of course, to the side, and just hit it with your hand like this. And that crushes the garlic, and the skin actually just pops right off. And you can set that aside, and if there's any little bit on the end, you can cut that off. So you have your garlic. You can take your knife then, all of your garlic together and just what we call this mincing. We're just going to use our knife to mince it up. And what you do is you just keep cutting that until it's all minced up. Okay. So just chop it until it's nice and finely grated. Okay. And you'll just keep chopping with the knife until that's nice and finely grated. And we have that actually right here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and put our garlic in our salad. Okay. Clear this off. Our next ingredient is going to be fresh ginger. Fresh ginger looks like this, okay? And what we're going to do is we're just going to take off a chunk of it. And what I don't use the skin on the ginger, so an easy way to get that skin off, of course you can cut it, or you can use a spoon and just scrape that off. In this case, just to keep things simple and moving right along, we're just going to take our knife and just cut off that skin. And just like your garlic, once that skin is removed, you're going to take that piece of ginger. It's very, very strong, okay? Ginger is very strong. It's great for soothing the stomach, but it's very, very, very strong. And we're going to cut pieces of it and then stack those up. And just like your garlic, you're going to want to mince it. So just carefully cut it into little sticks at first, and then you're going to want to take your knife and mince that up. Okay, so that just takes a minute. You're just going to go back over it over and over until you've got a nice minced up ginger. Okay, and we have ginger here set aside, and we're just going to add some of that to the salad. Okay, excellent. And our last ingredient is 1 teaspoon of dulse flakes. Now, dulse flakes you can find in any grocery store, usually where they have the seasonings or where they're selling Asian foods. So we're just going to sprinkle that right over the top. Now, dulse is, it's very salty. It has not a very salty taste, but it has a mild salty taste. It's full of key minerals. So you have all of your minerals in there. So it's great to add to all of your foods. And what I'm going to do is get my hands in here, and I'm going to massage. Let me just bring this on over here. I'm going to massage all of these ingredients together. Delicious. Marinated kale salad that if you have the avocado on the salad, you're going to want to consume that when you make it. If you plan on letting the salad sit in your fridge for a few days, that's perfectly fine. Keep the avocado off and add the avocado when you're ready to eat it. But all the vegetables, all the salad greens are perfectly fine with the lemon juice sitting on it for several days. And in 3 to 5 days, as long as you consume that within 3 to 5 days, it's beautiful in the fridge. And like I said, just add the avocado the day you're ready to eat it. So enjoy.